Hey there everybody, it's me, your guy Waddles. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. The 20W09A snapshot was kind of a big deal. That not only because it re-added a block into the game that has been missing for 10 years. I mean, that's a big part of it, but this thing right here, this is actually a bigger part of that deal. This thing right here is exactly what it looks like. It's a target block, but the target block is not only just a target block. It's also a lot more than it looks like. Like, a lot more than it looks. Today's video is all about the brand new red and white redstone component. This video is all about diving into a new idea and going over potentials. If you enjoyed this one, do me a favor, drop a like, and remember to subscribe for more content just like this video here. This right here is the target block. The target block is Minecraft's newest redstone component block. This block was added in the 20W09A snapshot, but first revealed back at Minecon in 2019. Now, on its own, the block doesn't seem all that special at all. I promise, today's video will definitely change your mind about that. So, the target block looks good, it's cool. It's a block that's meant to be shot at. Grab a bow, get some arrows, and then shoot at the thing, and a redstone signal will be emitted. If you hit it right in the center, you'll get a fancy advancement too. Now the fun doesn't stop there. You don't have to use a bow to hit this block and trigger a redstone signal. You can actually use anything that is throwable, including enchanted tridents that will come back to you, so you can throw them at the target block again and do whatever you're trying to do. Snowballs will work as well, which is actually pretty cool. Now to spice things up just a little bit more, if we're geared up, we could actually use skeletons to hit this block if their aim is on point. The skeleton's aim is definitely not the greatest, so if you're trying to achieve something like this, you'll need a setting that is a whole lot more controlled than a skeleton in a field, but it is definitely achievable. Absolutely. Now, if skeletons are a little too basic, a little too early game for you, I've got good news. Splash potions can actually activate target blocks as well, so theoretically, you could trap a witch and use a witch's splash potion to activate a target block. Pretty dangerous though. I don't know why you would ever try and actually do that. That's just a bad idea. What I'm trying to get at here is that when it comes to activating a target block, you have a lot of options, and I mean a lot. This next one is perhaps the biggest one. Take a look at this. That is actually a really big deal. Such a big deal that the pigs are even curious. I mean, take a look at that. It's huge, actually. That is actually really big. Now, just like pretty much anything else in Minecraft that involves redstone, the potential uses for this mechanic are pretty much limitless. Here we have definitely a not suspicious wall at all. It's literally just a wall, I promise. Oh wait, I lied. This button right here is actually a secret button. If we hit this button, and if we're quick enough, we actually have a secret door that was opened up. We're now inside of our netherite vault, which is actually insanely fancy. Now sure, you could definitely argue that the wiring for the secret door is a whole lot more complex than it needs to be, but hey, I'm just here to present ideas, don't shoot the dispenser at me. Yes, I know that door was fancy and all, but if I'm being 100% honest, this mechanic that we're talking about today, wireless redstone, as we'll call it from this point on, is a big deal, but it's not as big as a deal if you're trying to do things on a horizontal plane. Let's say we need something to happen over here, maybe like a piston or something. Well, we could easily place a button over here, run a redstone line in between the two things, and then that thing would happen. That would be just as compact as this would be over here, so really not too much of a difference. In fact, the only change here for this use would be a negative change, because you'd have to use a bunch of arrows or snowballs or something inside of a dispenser, and those materials would eventually be consumed. Redstone will last forever, as long as it doesn't meet water at least. But things definitely start to switch up if we start a conversation about redstone going vertically. Redstone doesn't have the best relationship with going up and down. It's not necessarily hard, but it doesn't really save a lot of space. So just to demo what I'm talking about, here is a definitely not suspicious target block. We'll stand on it, press the button, and an arrow is shot. Nothing bad happened at all. No, nothing. I didn't blink at all. We'll do it again, and we are now suffocating. That is sort of a problem. We're gonna go ahead and get out of that. Now, if we go over here, I'm sure nothing bad would happen. I definitely learned the first time about this. Go ahead and do it again, and yeah, no, I'm suffocating again. That's actually really bad. We're gonna need to not do that. So both things worked exactly the same. I ended up getting suffocated both times. It was kind of bad. Where things get different is the backside. Over here, the wiring is spread out across 2 blocks. Over here, the wiring is, well, I guess it's technically non-existent, but it exists in a 1 block space, going straight up vertically. Down at the bottom, we have a dispenser absolutely loaded with arrows at the top. We have a target block. Over here, we have a simple redstone line that would work always. You would never have to refill this, but it takes up a little bit more space. Let's say you're building in some sort of cave base that is crazy cramped on space. Or really, for that matter, it doesn't even have to be a cave base. It could actually be a building. You see, in the guide world, I like to build a lot of buildings. Whenever I'm doing redstone, though, I try and bury it because redstone starts to stretch out and take up a lot of space, especially if I'm trying to do things on the vertical plane instead of a horizontal plane. If you pair a dispenser with a target block, though, things definitely start to change. With a dispenser armed with a projectile and a target block, redstone can now become wireless, which is actually a huge deal. We've actually never had anything like this before that is so simple and so compact. And that mechanic right here, the dispenser paired with the target block, makes the target block such a big deal. Redstone can now be run vertically in a 1 block space, actually without redstone being run at all. This is going to be game-changing for compact circuits. To make things even better, because things are done with the dispenser and a target block, we could actually run another redstone line right next to this thing if I needed to. Let's say I had some sort of other machine over here. Well, I could have a line running right through here and there wouldn't be a problem. Whereas over here, if I tried to run a line right in here, the lines would actually start to get mixed up, and that could actually be a huge problem, especially if I'm working on some sort of crazy complex machine. We now have our circuits all messed up there. Things aren't going to work correctly. Over here, this would work perfectly fine. Reason number 2 as to why this is a big deal. Now, thankfully, as we can with pretty much anything else involving redstone, we can extend the duration of the circuit with repeaters as well, so we can add even more time to whatever we're trying to accomplish if we need to. So over here, I've added a bunch of delay to the circuit. If we press this button, the piston won't be activated for kind of a long time. Eventually, it'll be activated and do whatever it needs to do. This could be big when paired with something like this over here, because the timing here, I mean, you got to be pretty quick. You would have to be standing right over here by the door, or you're not going to make it through. This whole thing over here could actually be crazy useful when it comes to things like secret doors. I mean, imagine you have a button like 3 rooms away, then you have a whole circuit of dispensers and target blocks with a bunch of delay. I mean, your door could be, like I said, like 3 rooms away, and it would actually be pretty easy to use. And again, because this redstone is sort of wireless, you could run other lines in between this circuit here, and things will work beautifully. The only thing here is your target block cannot be right next to a redstone line, or that whole wireless thing, this circuit being in here and being completely disconnected from this one, that wouldn't work anymore. Now, realistically, there are actually 2 big setbacks when it comes to their wireless redstone. Setback number 1, arrows are not infinite. Eventually, your dispenser will run out of arrows. Realistically, inside of a circuit that is not automatic, this won't happen for a long time. A single dispenser can hold 9 stacks of 64. That's a total of 576 arrows. Now, you could actually beef things up even more if you needed to by hooking a hopper up to your dispenser and then putting a double chest full of even more arrows. Not a big deal. But still, it is definitely something to be aware of. If you're setting up some sort of automatic machine, this might not be your best bet for redstone going vertically. The other potential issue that you could have here with something like this is a little bit bigger. Dispensers don't always have the best aim. Sometimes their arrows will miss the target block, especially if the target block is placed further away from the dispenser. I mean, I'm having pretty good luck here. As you can see, the dispenser is pretty consistent, but from time to time, I have noticed that the dispenser does manage to actually miss the target block. Is it going to happen? I guess not, but it could happen. And if we moved the target block even farther away, like let's say up there, we're probably going to end up missing that target block a whole lot more. I mean, yeah, right there. That's the problem there. So this does sort of actually have a limit. That limiting factor is entirely the dispenser's fault. Dispensers can only shoot arrows so high, and they're sort of inaccurate. So on a small scale, this is actually crazy useful, but maybe on a larger scale, not so much. It might actually be a little bit easier to do some sort of redstone ladder. Unless, yeah, unless you do something like this right there. You can run this pretty much infinitely as far as you need to, and that is the big brain move that we were getting towards in today's video. You can run this forever, infinitely upwards, space the target blocks out only a few blocks away from your dispensers, and take a look at this. You could run redstone vertically in one block as far up or down as you need. You could, of course, reverse this circuit with the dispensers facing downwards, the target blocks just like that, and it is going to work beautifully. But I am now littering quite a bit of arrows. Maybe I should stop. And so, elites, if this isn't a big deal, then I really don't know what is. That is pretty crazy. This could have never been done before, so compact. That's a big deal. The target block is a really cool block. This block is going to be crazy useful for things like target practice and minigames, but the block will potentially be even more useful for things like vertical redstone. When paired with a dispenser that is loaded with projectiles, the target block allows for redstone that is sort of, in a way, pretty much wireless, and that is probably the biggest thing that the target block offers. But I don't know, that's just what I came up with. What do you think? Definitely share your thoughts on everything that we talked about today down in the comments below. What do you plan on using the target block for once the 1.16 update releases and the target block is officially in Minecraft? Definitely tell me down in the comments below as well. If you enjoyed this one, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. It really helps me out a lot. If you love what I do and you'd like to support me, consider picking up some of the merch. It's pretty elite, it's pretty epic, or becoming a patron today. All of that stuff, it can be found right down below the video in the description or on the merch bench. Today, I'd like to send a big special thank you to my patron, Sarah R. I will see you all in the next one. Until next time, stay cool, elites. Goodbye.